What if I told you one of the funniest movies ever made is all about murder? Today we're diving into Arsenic and Old Lace, the 1944 dark comedy directed by Frank Capra and starring Cary Grant. A movie that somehow turns serial killing into pure comedy gold. Let's get into it. The story follows Mortimer Brewster, a successful drama critic who has built his entire career criticizing marriage, only to immediately get married himself. Now, right after tying the knot, he stops by his childhood home to tell his aunts the big news. Now, his aunts, Abby and Martha Brewster, seem like the definition of sweet old ladies. They're polite, gentle, and known in their neighborhood for their kindness and charity. Within minutes of arriving, Mortimer discovers something that completely shatters that image. There's a dead body in the window seat.
When the curtain goes up, the first thing you see is a dead body. The next thing...
At first, Mortimer assumes something terrible has happened, but then his aunts calmly explain the situation.
Well, what's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
The man didn't suffer. In fact, they helped him. They gave him elderberry wine mixed with arsenic, strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide. Yes, his sweet elderly aunts are poisoning lonely old men. And here's the twist. They don't even look at it as murder. They think they're creating an act of kindness. In their minds, they're helping sad, isolated men escape miserable lives. That's what makes the whole movie so brilliant. The horror of the situation is constantly undercut by how normal, even cheerful the aunts are about it.
Well, we put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
But things get even stranger. Living with the aunts is Mortimer's brother, Teddy, who is absolutely convinced he is Theodore Roosevelt. Not inspired by him, that he is him. He charges up the stairs yelling, "Charge!" and believes the basement is the Panama Canal. Oh, and he's been helping bury the bodies, thinking he's digging locks for the canal.
Oh, when Ted is working on the canal, you can't get his mind on anything else.
At this point, Mortimer is on the edge of losing his mind, but the chaos, it's just getting started. Enter Jonathan Brewster, Mortimer's other brother. He's a wanted criminal with a terrifying appearance, played by Raymond Massey. He arrives with his accomplice, a nervous plastic surgeon who specializes in changing criminals' faces. Jonathan plans to lie low at the house until he realizes his aunts have already been using it as a burial ground.
I do think that Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And here is where it gets really funny. Jonathan, an actual murderer, is offended that his elderly aunts have killed more people than he has.
You've done all that right here in this house and buried them in the cellar.
From this point on, the film becomes a non-stop whirlwind of confusion, secrets, and near disasters. Mortimer is desperately trying to juggle everything at once. He needs to protect his new wife from the truth, stop his brother from adding more bodies, deal with his aunt's, quote, charity work, and somehow keep the police from discovering everything. And the police are constantly around. At one point, an officer keeps interrupting to talk about his dreams of becoming a playwright, completely oblivious to the chaos unfolding just feet away. It's moments like this that highlight the film's genius timing. Doors slam, people hide bodies, and characters miss finding out the truth by seconds. It's perfect farce executed at its finest. What really makes Arsenic and Old Lace stand out is its tone. Most films about murder are dark, serious, and intense. This one flips that completely. It invites you to laugh at something that should be horrifying, and somehow it works. A big reason for this is the performances. Cary Grant delivers one of the most energetic performances of his career. He spends most of the film in a state of total panic, wide-eyed, frantic, and constantly on the verge of a breakdown. His reactions are what ground the audience in the absurdity of everything happening. Meanwhile, the actresses playing Abby and Martha keep everything calm and pleasant, which makes their actions even more unsettling and funny.
Murdered.
Murdered? Certainly not. It's one of our charities. Why, what we've been doing is a mercy.
And then there's the pacing. The movie never slows down. Each scene builds on the last, adding more complications and raising the stakes. Just when you think things can't get worse for Mortimer, they absolutely do. And yet, it never feels overwhelming. It just keeps getting funnier. It's also worth noting the film's origins. Arsenic and Old Lace started as a hugely successful Broadway play, which explains its fast dialogue, tight structure, and emphasis on physical comedy and timing. Frank Capra kept much of that theatrical energy in the film adaptation, making it feel almost like you're watching a live performance, but with the polish of cinema. Another interesting layer is the time period. Released during World War II, audiences were dealing with real fear and uncertainty. The film offered a kind of escape, allowing people to laugh at death and danger in a safe, exaggerated way. And that's part of why it's still so effective today.
Modern audiences are used to dark comedies, but Arsenic and Old Lace was way ahead of its time. It proved that you really could take a really morbid subject and, written and executed properly, you could turn it into something truly entertaining.
By the time we reach the final act, everything comes to a head. Secrets are revealed, characters collide, the chaos reaches its peak, and Mortimer is pushed to his absolute limit as he tries to untangle the mess his family has created. Without spoiling too much, the ending manages to wrap everything up in a way that feels both satisfying and perfectly in line with the film's tone. So, why should you watch Arsenic and Old Lace today? Because it's a masterclass in comedy. It's fast, clever, and endlessly entertaining. It proves that great writing, strong performances, and perfect timing can make even the darkest premise feel lighthearted. It's also a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected stories are the most memorable. After all, how many movies can make you laugh at the idea of sweet old ladies running a murder operation out of the living room? So if you're looking for a classic film that still holds up, delivers nonstop laughs, and offers something completely unique, Arsenic and Old Lace is definitely worth your time. And remember, if someone offers you homemade elderberry wine, maybe just politely decline.
I always enjoy seeing this film, but it has to be said, Cary Grant hated his performance. He never even liked to talk about this film. In fact, he was embarrassed about the way that he executed the role. I personally thought he did a masterclass in how to do a farce and especially how to do a dark comedy, but he would prefer to not talk about it for the rest of his life. Fun fact, about 1,000 years ago, I was cast in a stage production of Arsenic and Old Lace, and I played Cary Grant's role of Mortimer. I purposely did not watch this film beforehand because I knew there was absolutely no way I could follow his performance, and obviously I was correct. What celebrity would you like to see me cover next? Leave the name in the comments below and I'll be sure and tackle that for you. Thanks for watching, and be sure and look for new episodes every Sunday and Wednesday. And if you don't mind, please hit the subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Until next time, make it a great day.